everybody, welcome back to my virtual library. Today I wanted to share with you a historical fiction story. It's one of my favorites. It's called A Fine Dessert. 4 centuries, 4 families, 1 delicious treat. It was written by Emily Jenkins and illustrated by Sophie Blackall. Sophie Blackall is one of my favorite illustrators, and I hope you really pay attention to the pictures in this story. So, A Fine Dessert. 1710, 1810, 1910, 2010. A Fine Dessert. A bit more than 300 years ago, in an English town called Lyme, a girl and her mother picked wild blackberries. Their hands turned purple with the juice. The thorns of the berry bushes pricked the fabric of their long skirts. When they got home, the woman skimmed the cream off the evening's milk. She added it to the cream from the morning's milk and began to beat it all with a bundle of clean, soft twigs. Beat, 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 beat. Her arm began to ache. Beat, 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 beat. 15 minutes later, she stopped. Whipped cream. The girl drew water from the well. She put the berries in a piece of muslin and rinsed them. Then she squashed and strained them through the muslin, getting rid of the seeds. Together, she and her mother poured sugar on the fruit and then mixed it with the cream. "You may lick the spoon, love," said the woman. So the girl did. They carried the mixture to an ice pit in the hillside. It chilled near sheets of winter ice packed with reeds and straw. After the family supper, cold chicken, mushroom ketchup, and meat pie, they spooned the blackberry fool into blue dishes and served it to father and the older brothers. Even the baby had some. Later in the kitchen, the girl licked the bowl clean. What a fine dessert. A bit more than 200 years ago, outside a city called Charleston, South Carolina, a girl and her mother picked blackberries from the plantation garden. A horse-drawn wagon delivered cream from a nearby dairy. The girl beat the cream with a metal whisk made by the local blacksmith. Beat, 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 beat. Her arm began to ache. Beat, beat. 10 minutes later, whipped cream. The girl washed the berries in water from the well, then she smashed them through a tin sieve with the back of a spoon, getting rid of the seeds. Together, she and her mother poured sugar on the fruit and then mixed it with the cream. "You may lick the spoon, child," the woman said. So the girl did. They carried the mixture to a wooden box in the basement. It was stacked with blocks of ice, lined with lead and insulated with cork. They put the bowl in. After waiting table at supper, where the master and his family ate turtle soup, roast turkey, corn cakes, and sweet potatoes, they spooned the blackberry fool into yellow dishes and served it. Later, the girl and her mother hid in the closet and licked the bowl clean together. What a fine dessert. A bit more than 100 years ago, in a city called Boston, Massachusetts, a girl and her mother bought 2 wooden boxes of blackberries at an open-air market. When they got home, their morning's delivery of pasteurized cream was waiting at the door in pretty glass bottles. The woman looked at a recipe book. She beat the cream with cast iron rotary beaters. Whirl, whirl! 5 minutes later, whipped cream. The girl drew water from the new faucet in the kitchen. She washed the berries and smashed them through a sieve with her fingers. Her hands turned purple with the juice. Together, she and her mother poured sugar on the fruit and then mixed it with the cream. "Do you want the spatula, my pet?" said the woman. "Yes, please," said the girl, and she licked it clean. They carried the blackberry fool to a wooden icebox stocked with blocks of ice they had delivered each day. After Sunday dinner, potato soup, roast chicken, and canned asparagus on toast, they spooned the fool into green dishes and ate it together with father and the younger brothers. Even the baby had some. Back in the kitchen, the girl ran her tongue along the inside of the bowl. What a fine dessert. Just a couple of years ago, in a city called San Diego, California, a boy and his dad bought 2 cardboard boxes of blackberries and a carton of pasteurized organic cream at the supermarket. When they got home, the man printed out a recipe from the internet. The boy beat the cream with an electric mixer. Zzz. 2 minutes later, whipped cream. It reminded the boy of shaving foam. The man ran water in the sink and washed the berries in a colander. He crushed them in a food processor, then pushed them through a sieve with a plastic spatula. Together, they poured sugar on the fruit and then mixed it with the cream. "Can I lick the spatula?" asked the boy. "Of course you can, buddy," said the man. So the boy did. They put the mixture in the refrigerator. The doorbell rang and friends surged in, bringing cartons of lemonade, grilled vegetables, enchiladas, and tomato salad. After a long, good dinner, the man and his son spooned the blackberry fool into white dishes and served it to their guests. Everyone gobbled it up, especially the babies. After the guests went home, the boy stood in the messy kitchen licking the inside of the bowl. What a fine dessert. But the blackberry fool had been so very, very delicious, there wasn't much left. And then at the back of the recipe, at the back of the book is a recipe so we can make our own blackberry fool. In fact, if you stay tuned, I'm gonna make one. And blackberries are in season right now, so I'm gonna make a strawberry fool. So stay tuned for a minute. But first, I wanted to read a little note from the author. After reading the story, you might have some questions. You might have noticed that the whisk changes. So remember, it started as a bundle of sticks, and then it turned into iron made by a blacksmith and an electric mixer. So it changes throughout the story. So do the clothes people are wearing and what's happening. And it's really cool what the author did with the story is they tried to keep it really what we call historically accurate. So the outfits and what's happening in that time. So the author had a little note at the end that she wanted to share with the reader. So I'm gonna read that to you. It said, "A fine dessert raises some topics you may want to discuss between adults and children together. I hope the book inspires conversations. This story includes characters who are slaves. Even though there is by no means space to explore the topic of slavery fully, I wanted to represent American life in 1810 without ignoring that part of our history. I wrote about people finding joy in craftsmanship and dessert, even within lives of great hardship and injustice, because finding that joy shows something powerful about the human spirit." So there's some things you might want to talk about with your families in here about history, or with your teacher, or with me. So if you have any questions or things you want to talk about or comment on, I am open to talking about those things, and I hope your parents are too. But stay tuned. We're going to look at some of the tools they use in the kitchens, and we're going to make a strawberry fool. So stay tuned. I'll see you in just a second. Bye. All right, everybody, we're here to make a strawberry fool. So the first thing I need to do is look at my recipe. Mr. Z has taught you in gardening and cooking class that it's important to read through your recipe first. So let's make sure we have all our ingredients. 2½ cups fresh blackberries. Well, other berries will do. Okay, so I have strawberries. Second thing is 1/2 cup of sugar divided in 2. So 1/2 cup. Does anyone know what 1/2 is? It's a 1/4 cup. So I have 2 1/4 cups of sugar. So let me show you that here. We have 1/2 cup is the same, equal to 2 1/4 cups. So we have our sugar ready to go. Okay, then it says 1 teaspoon vanilla. And then it says 1½ cups heavy cream. So we have our heavy cream, and we have to measure it out. So I'm going to measure out 1½ cups of heavy cream. All right. So we have all the cream we need. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that this book, because it's a library book, stays far away from our ingredients. It says, mash the berries with a potato masher or a large fork. If you've got a food processor, you can use that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use this fancy thing here. It's got a blade in here. It's kind of like a food processor, but mini. So I'm gonna put the strawberries in there, and then we're going to blend it up. Whoop, almost dropped one. And I already washed my hands. Make sure you wash your hands before you do any kind of cooking. Okay, put this on here. It's gonna be loud for a second. One more time. Okay, we got our strawberries. Oh, I hear one in there, so I'm gonna do it one more time. All right, so we got our strawberries. And you'll remember from the story that it said that they push it through a sieve. Well, strawberries have really small seeds, so I'm gonna skip that step, okay? Because it'd be really hard to filter out the seeds, so I'm not gonna worry about that, okay? So then it says, sprinkle the fruit with a 1/4 cup of the sugar. So here's our fruit. And remember, we gotta take our 1/4 cup. We divided it from a 1/2 cup. So we're gonna take our 1/4 cup, and we're just gonna sprinkle it in there. And I'm actually gonna shake it up because it's in this little thing. So I'm going to just shake it up so that the sugar gets on all those strawberries there. Okay, our next step in our recipe is to, in a separate bowl, mix together the remaining 1/4 cup of sugar, the vanilla, and the cream. Okay? So we gotta put the remaining 1/4 cup, the vanilla, which is 1 teaspoon. So this is a teaspoon. And the cream. Okay. So we combined all those ingredients, but now we have to do what to it? Does anyone remember? We have to whip it. Okay, so in the story they used lots of different kinds of whisks. We could hand whip it with this whisk, but that would take a really long time. Remember, the first one took 15 minutes, then 10 minutes, the one that was this shape. Okay, if I was in a real bakery and had a giant bowl, I could use a beater like this, but that's way too big. Okay, so what we're gonna use is a hand mixer. So that's what this looks like. So we have to use this until soft peaks form, and it might take a couple minutes, so bear with me. Let's see what we got now. Look at that. We've got whipped cream. Okay, we're gonna look at the next step of our recipe. And it says, fold the sugared berries into the whipped cream. Taste it to see if it's sweet enough. Add more sugar if you need it. There should be streaks of white and purple. So we're gonna add in our strawberries. You guys know what it means to fold in to a recipe? It means to mix it gently. So I'm gonna grab my spatula. I'm gonna get this stuff off here. Set that aside. I'm gonna pour our strawberries in. And I'm gonna fold it gently. So see how I'm not mixing it really hard? I'm going really soft and slow. See the white and the red together? Ours is red, not purple, because we use strawberries and not blackberries. So nice and and gentle, fold it in. There we go. When it's got nice streaks of white and red in there, see that? The white and the red? Then we're all done. And all we do now is, it says to refrigerate for 3 hours and then serve and enjoy. So I'm gonna put it in the fridge. I hope you guys are making some at home. But you know, I think I need to do what they did in the story and lick the spatula. Thanks guys for joining me. And I hope you enjoyed our library lesson today. And again, if you guys wanna talk about any of the stuff in the story or the recipe, I would love to. So reach out to me in the comments or email me, whatever you need to do, but I would love to hear your thoughts on this story. And I hope this starts some conversations at home. All right, bye everybody.